everyone, Roxanne here from FinanceRocks.com. Earlier today, I was working on my regular weekly planning and realized that I could hop on here and share some of my prompts with you guys. I think that it's important to think about your finances at the start of every week and plan out what you're going to do, what actions you're going to actually take to start making progress on your financial goals. I do this in two parts. I meet with my husband every Sunday and we call it our weekly household money meeting. So that's when we pay bills for the week. That's when we do things like today we updated our payment information on a bunch of our auto pays because our card had expired. So things like updating our credit cards. We spend time meal prepping every week. I have like a little log where I track things that we need to remember. So going through and making sure that we don't have like our annual property tax payment due or annual insurance payment, those kinds of things. So making sure that we are on top of all of our payments. And we also use this time to talk about investing. So just running through where things are invested, should they be invested there, adjusting anything that we need to. So we have that portion of our weekly money management that I do with him. And then I do another piece, and I kind of incorporate this into my overall weekly planning. But I like to go through and think about what I'm going to do to improve our finances. And I usually break that down into tasks and habits, and then think through what tasks do I need to do and what habits am I working on. So some examples of those tasks would be like, do I need to call the bank this week? Working through any kind of tasks that you have to do on just on a case-by-case basis. Hey, Doug, how are you? Thanks for hopping into the live stream. I was just going through kind of an overview of the two things I do each week to manage our money. Like I mentioned, the first is going through with my husband. We categorize transactions since we both make transactions and we don't always know what the other person is doing. So updating the categories, paying bills, that kind of thing. And then this section where I go through kind of my own weekly goals and then planning those out for the week and also scheduling them is an important step. I really believe if you are not taking action on a day-to-day basis for your finances, it's going to be really hard to make progress and actually achieve like the goals that you're making. Even with a budget, I think a lot of people set a budget and then never change any of their spending or day-to-day habits. And then, hit the end of the month and say, oh, I didn't hit my budget. Why can't I seem to hit that budget or stay within that range? And I think a lot of it is breaking that down into what am I going to change on a day-to-day basis to make that happen? So, like saving $200 doesn't really mean anything to me compared to saying, okay, that means I'm only going to go to Chipotle 2 out of the 4 regular times that I go this month. Or I'm going to spend 30 minutes each day working on my side hustle. Making sure that we break it down into daily tasks and habits are very important for managing your money. So making sure we're taking action every day. Then for this session, I am going to do 3 5-minute long silent work sessions. At first, though, I'm going to go through some tips for kind of just weekly planning and project management a little bit too. So some tips there, and then we'll do the 3 work sessions. The first will be goal setting for the week. So answering the question, what do you want to accomplish? The next silent work session will be prioritizing and scheduling. Prioritizing is the one I have the hardest time with. I will go through and write down everything I want to do, but then, I have to remind myself to take that next step of prioritizing those tasks and making sure that it's actually realistic for the week that I'm planning. Oh, Audrey, hello. Mandaraj, welcome to the live stream. So we'll do those 2 work sessions, and then the third one will be meal planning and or writing a shopping list are the prompts that I have. So tips for you guys. Write your goals down. I've read research that says just the act of writing your goals out makes you much more likely to actually accomplish those goals. So I think that kind of just reflecting and taking a step back on your bigger goals before you get into what are you going to do this week is helpful. I don't know that we'll have time for that since this is more workshop style. So I wanted to make sure to give you time to get this week planned out. But just something to think about overall, if you can take a few seconds really just to write out your top 3 goals. I do try to do top 3. It can be overwhelming if you're like, oh, I have 15 goals this year. Then writing your goals can take a while, and even to remember what they were can take some mental energy. So write down your goals. If not today, then when you go to do your regular money portion. Like I said, prioritizing is key. Try to stick to the top 3. Try to do 1 if you can. And now this doesn't mean that you can't do more than that in a week. If you can complete 3 things, then you can move on to, setting your next 3 or setting your next 1 goal to focus on and prioritize. Just makes it a lot easier. Our brains tend to remember 3 items and not much more than that. I love so I know I already mentioned David Allen. He wrote the book Getting Things Done, and I love that book for productivity. Highly recommend it if you guys haven't read it. But he talks about that. And he also talks about projects versus tasks. A lot of us have a habit of writing down a project and kind of thinking of it as a task, a short little task. And David Allen likes to use the example of planning a gift for your dad for his birthday, for example. It's really more of a project because there are more steps involved than sometimes we think about. So, the first would be deciding what to get dad for his birthday, taking the time to think through the gift and planning out what you're going to actually buy. The next step would be, actually going out and buying it. Another step might be mailing it if you don't live nearby. Another step might be getting the card or writing a card. So really trying to focus on breaking down whatever tasks you want to work down to kind of the smallest next steps that you can is really helpful for making sure that you actually can get things done. So those were the tips that I wanted to share. So preparation for the first silent work session. So it's going to be goal setting. What do you want to accomplish this week? And feel free to type in the chat too if you what you are trying to work on this week. And like I said, I like to break it down into tasks and habits. So tasks would be, I need to call this person, email that person. It'd be things like, looking up how to do, maybe you're trying to do an IRA contribution for the first time. So researching, how to do an IRA contribution. It might be transferring money from bank to bank, canceling a subscription. That's a good one. Looking up a new recipe. Tasks are anything, the way I think of them, that are a one-shot item. And then habits are the things we do every day or are trying to do every day. So habits that you might want to focus on would be like tracking your spending. So logging in each day, categorizing any transactions, reviewing things. Other habits would be reading. I really encourage people to read like 1 personal finance article per day, something like, 10 ways to save on groceries, because that helps fuel ideas for you on how you could, cut back on things, how to get a promotion on the income side. So something like that where you say, oh, okay, I'm going to read 1 article every day would be a habit. Cutting out spending on certain things. Like I said, if I'm going to try to do like 1 Chipotle visit per week instead of the 2 or, whatever. I don't go that often, but I would consider that to be a habit. Like if you're talking about like restaurant visits per week, maybe it's spending 30 minutes on your side hustle each day. And then just as a little bonus here, I think that it's really good to plan one fun or free activity each week. And I've talked before a little bit about if you have like friends that aren't very frugal, kind of becoming the planner of the group and kind of suggesting one inexpensive activity every week is a really good way to kind of guide the group, or to encourage yourself to both have fun and enjoy being around the people that you care about, but also doing it in a way that's inexpensive. There's tons of smoke everywhere right now, and coronavirus, so I know this is a little harder than usual. I also do think of it as like cheap self-care too. Anything that you can think of, like, oh, okay, I'll do a little DIY face mask out of bananas and coffee grinds. So things like that, like inexpensive ways. A lot of the times with our finances, we feel like we always have to be cutting back. This is a way to counter that and help us feel less deprived by the things that we're trying to do to make and save money. If we're working all the time trying to earn an income, we're spending a lot of time thinking about how we can cut back. Just having one thing where it's like intentionally fun and intentionally cheap, it's like a good synergy between those. So even if it's just going on a walk, even if it's taking a bath or some kind of aromatherapy, doing a puzzle, anything like that would be good. Doug says, I got to catch up on email. Yeah. Do you do inbox zero? Is that something that you are you familiar with that? And then planning on figuring out what else I need to do. Yeah. Bananas and coffee grinds. I think you can use used coffee grinds. I've done like oatmeal and coffee grind face masks before, and the coffee grinds are exfoliating, and then like the caffeine like helps like brighten your skin, or like I don't know. There's tons of different recipes. Yeah, I don't know if bananas and coffee grinds specifically is a recipe, but yeah, I like doing stuff like that. So I find that to be a fun way and inexpensive way to do a little self-care. All right, so work session 1, let me go ahead and share my screen. Like I said, it'll be a 5-minute timer. And, if you have something else that you want to work on, feel free. If you want to follow along with the prompt, it would be, what do you want to accomplish this week? And we can go ahead and get started. And 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. End of work session 1. How did it go? What did you decide to work on this week? Oh, so I had asked, do you try to do inbox 0? No, it's a mess. Mine is too. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big lover of email. Reading emails kind of gives me anxiety, so I avoid it as much as possible, and then it builds up, which doesn't help. But I do think it'd be cool to do inbox 0. If you guys are unfamiliar with that, it just means either addressing or filing all of your emails, so that way you always have an empty inbox. And so, if you have a few items, you might spend a little bit of time like trying to get through to the bottom, and then, by the end of the day, have that be your goal. And so that's inbox 0. So I don't either. I'd like to. So I decided for this week, tasks that I'm working on, I'd really like to create a digital product for my side hustle. And even if it's just like a little freebie PDF file or something. I've never done it before, so trying to get something kind of set up there. I need to schedule a no-spend challenge. I used to do almost monthly no-spend challenges on my Instagram, and I'd like to do them here on YouTube as well, and just do like a video each day with tips on doing a no-spend challenge for like a week. So I need to try to schedule one. I love no-spend challenges because it's like a little reset for your habits. That little interruption kind of brings you back in touch with what you actually need and don't need, and it kind of helps you to, realize how much time like spent shopping and that kind of thing. So plus saving money is nice. It's kind of like I like to do like juice fasts sometimes too, and I've done like digital detoxes. I just like the idea of resetting. Makes you feel more grateful for things when you get back to them, so that's why. And then the third one is to find one new recipe. My husband and I always joke about whether or not our recipes check all the boxes. So trying to find recipes that are affordable, easy to make, healthy. And there's one more. There's 4 boxes. I always forget one. So some examples, like scrambled eggs are a good example of a recipe that checks all the boxes, easy to make, scrambled. Affordable. Eggs are very affordable. Delicious. Maybe that was the one I forgot. Tasty. You knew it. Audrey, you knew it. Tasty. Oh, thank goodness. Yeah, so finding more recipes that check all the boxes, so to say. So yeah, I put on there, find one new recipe. So I'll probably just, Google around and try and find one at one point. Habits this week, I am trying to finish up reading The Millionaire Mind by Thomas J. Stanley. Been making good progress on it. It's a little slow to read, very statistic heavy. So basically I'm trying to do 1 chapter per week, trying to read a little bit every day, which is kind of a vague goal. I should probably have that narrowed down to number of pages, so that way it's more specific. And then one funner free thing. Okay, this is kind of dumb, but we bought some kinetic sand because we had never we didn't know what it was. It's just been sitting upstairs for a long time, and so I was like, oh, I could have a little like chill session and I don't know, play around with kinetic sand. That's dumb, I know. Literally, it doesn't have to be anything fancy. A little bit of like self-care, relaxation time that doesn't include spending money. So what are you guys doing for tasks, habits, and then something fun or free, if you had any ideas? Also, yeah, just so like I said, those were my top 3. And those are kind of my money specific ones too. So the next prompt is going to be prioritizing and scheduling. If you had done the first one as more of a brain dump of here are all the things I could do this week, then you'd want to start this one with prioritizing those down to 3 or down to 1 if you can. The more focused you are, the more likely you're going to be to be able to accomplish that. So thank you. Wanderage says, not dumb, fun. Most people have kids, and so they probably do goofy stuff like that, like play with kinetic sand with their kids. But thank you for saying that. So this next prompt will be prioritizing and scheduling. So prioritizing your tasks, which ones are the most important, which are going to have the highest payoff. It's very tempting to want to pick the things to do that are easy, but the things that are easy aren't always the things that help us actually make progress towards our goals. So be careful of that. I'm guilty of that, wanting to pick things that are easy or things I've done before. The next is really figuring out when you're going to do them. And I do recommend actually putting them on your calendar. Actually, blocking a little time. That way, if you have a digital calendar or even a paper calendar, you have some kind of reminder that of that priority, of that goal or intention that you set to actually work on during the week. You might need to ask yourself, what do I need to cut in order to have a little time to do this project? Because all of our time is a trade-off, right? Saying yes to one thing means saying no to another, because I don't know anybody who, oh, Doug's taken off. Thank you, Doug. You said you'll be working on a new course, exciting, for the next few weeks, scheduling more downtime for the end of the year. Nice. Yeah. Well, thank you for stopping in. I'll talk to you later this week. So thank you for hopping in. Sometimes with our goals, we need to ask ourselves, what do I need to cut to work this in, to make sure that I have time for this thing? I think a lot of people, just based on the statistics, I've heard that people spend like 50 minutes per day shopping. I've heard statistics about, that we spend a couple hours per day on social media. So those are kind of the easy, not really easy to cut out because they're addictive, but some of the that's probably a likely option for things that you could cut out in order to make time to work on the goals that you want to accomplish. So having that focused time to work on what you want to work on. So if you guys have, if you want to, for accountability, share in the comments, feel free to share what you are working on this week. And then let's go ahead and get into our next silent work session. It'll be another 5-minute silent work session. The prompt will be prioritizing and scheduling what you want to accomplish this week. Okay, one more thing on that. I do like to I just print off my some dot grid for filling in the week. So I do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I like to start on Monday. It's a great tip for your calendar. So on paper, or if you have like a Google Calendar, try to schedule a little time to work on the goals that you set during the first silent work session. Okay, that was my tip for you. Okay, getting back into the timer, and we'll go ahead and start 3, 2, 1 now. No! Okay, I was muted. Thank you, Mandaraj, for saying that. Okay. Backing up. Thank you for letting me know. Okay, back on Monday. uh, Thank you for hopping on. I was wondering, are you going to start doing videos again? I don't know that I've seen one from you. So thank you for hopping on. Mandaraj, Monday too. Yes, so I love doing Monday through Sunday planning for just that reason, having the weekend together. So that way you don't have to like write it on 2 different days on the same weekend. And Monday feels like the start of the week to me. Rochelle's here. Hello. Welcome. I know, I'm sorry, I had it on mute. So I muted it for the work session, and then I meant to unmute it and just started talking. I apologize. Okay, so how did work session 2 go? So work session 1 was goal setting for the week. Work session 2, prioritizing and scheduling. Did you have a hard time prioritizing? That's always the struggle for me is I have so many things that I want to do. Narrowing it down to 3 or 1 thing to do just helps give you focus and makes it more likely that you'll be able to accomplish what you set out to do. So those were the 2. If you guys would like for accountability, feel free to put in the comments what you are planning to work on this weekend. I did get my items scheduled. So my 3 tasks are working on a digital product, even if it's just a freebie, I haven't decided yet. Schedule a no spend challenge. I think it's going to be October, but I need to get it at least on the calendar. And I'm thinking about showing that on YouTube as well as I used to just do them on Instagram, like 1 week a month, do a no spend challenge. So I need to schedule that and get it prepped. And then my 1 new recipe. So 1 new recipe that checks all the boxes. And I just went ahead and scheduled all my stuff on Monday. I said, I usually do an admin block on Monday, so just random administrative tasks. I usually start that around 11 a.m. So that's when I'll do the 3 tasks. Then as far as habits, kind of like I was talking about, I try to break my weekly goals into tasks and habits. So my habit for this week is focusing on reading every day. I'm making good progress through The Millionaire Mind by Thomas J. Stanley. So just making sure that I'm reading 1 chapter a week just by reading every day. And then my 1 fun and free thing, like I said, have a little sand time, a little kinetic sand time. I think Monday at 6 would be the perfect time because don't we all need a little relaxation on Mondays? So those are my things, my items for the week scheduled. And then let's prep for work session 3. So work session 3 is going to be meal planning, writing a shopping list, or if you haven't already, a little time to recap your spending from the last week. Just make sure that things are categorized, that you didn't have any fraudulent charges in your bank account, that kind of thing. I did that this morning. My husband and I, we meet early on Sundays and go through that kind of thing. So just wanted to give you guys some options if you didn't already have something planned to work on. It's really important to plan meals every week. We all need to eat. I mean, some people don't seem like they eat, but I do. And so making sure that we kind of have a plan for where we're going to eat so that way we're not like scrambling at 5 o'clock on any night and then just decide to give up and order food. I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a convenience meal from time to time, but I don't know. I just find it's a lot easier for the whole week if I plan out a little bit ahead of time. And then probably after this, I will take a little bit of time and meal prep for the week. So planning what we're going to eat is 1 step. Creating a shopping list is 1 step. And then I try to spend a little bit of time every Sunday just prepping meals. So if that's like chopping vegetables, cooking some rice or whatever grain we're going to have with particular meals. I just find that it makes cooking easier if you have a few things prepped and a little healthier if I can think ahead for like, oh, I'm going to make some overnight oats with chia seeds. So that way we have a healthy breakfast thing to eat, breakfast thing. Rochelle says, I'm finally using my SM content calendar. What's SM? Oh, social media content calendar. Because that would be awesome. I'm almost to the point of having like a few weeks worth of content ready to go. Like I have a big quote bank now, and I kind of have like a routine now of doing like a quote and then a photo and then a quote and then a photo. So that's been really helpful. I'm almost there, like having a whole month ahead. And I've got a bag of frozen flounder that's been in the freezer since July. I need to use this week. Okay, this is a great point. Thank you, Rochelle. An important part of doing this is kind of checking what you have that needs to get used up. I used to, when I was doing more of our cooking, my husband does more of it now, but I used to have a habit of going every morning and just opening those drawers in the fridge to see what fresh veggies we had, because I forget what is in there, and like our pantry and freezer too, but especially like fresh produce, just having that, just looking in there, like nothing else, just have to look in there and then I can get on with my day. But that's a little tip for you guys. I find that as a way to like help make sure that we reduce our food waste. But this is perfect. You know, if you have frozen flounder, maybe use that up, plan a meal with it. Perfect. Yes. Okay. So that is social media. I do SM too, but for some reason, when I'm on a live stream, I completely forget what acronyms are. So thank you. Okay. So let's get into silent work session number 3. Like I said, if you have something to work on, feel free to work on that. Otherwise, meal planning. What meals are you going to eat this week? Shopping list. What do you need to make those meals? And then if you want a money-related one, I would say make sure that you're caught up to date on categorizing your purchases from last week. Hi, Ward Willis. Welcome. I haven't seen you on here. Welcome to the live stream. Bought 4 pounds of chicken breast. How should I plan my meals around it? I like to do like crock pot, green chili verde chicken, like tacos. So it depends on how you want to cook it. You could say like grilled chicken one night, crock pot chicken another night. Yeah, if anyone has any suggestions, feel free to share them in the chat. And let's go ahead and get into the final work session. All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, that's the, and oh, what's happening? Okay, end of work session 1, or work session 3. I'm flustered now. Okay, let's turn those off, go back to comments. Ward said, yes, it's my first time here. Audrey says, I've started making shopping lists by store. That's a good idea. I really only do Walmart anymore. My husband does the Albertson shopping, so we kind of naturally have that by store as well. Shopping lists are a great way to save money too. Not everybody does that. Not everyone creates a shopping list, and a lot of people just go and wander around and pick stuff up, and it's really hard to meal plan, and you end up going to the store more, which means more opportunities for impulse purchases. So that's good. I like that tip. Rochelle says, welcome, Ward. And Backroad Money says, we try to make a couple things during the week that can be multi-purpose. For example, last week I made taco soup and we ate it with chips. Next, we put it over baked potatoes and then mix with rice. Okay, love this. Several tips inside of here, right? So one, if you have kind of like trickle down recipes, that means less meal planning, right? Because if you decide to have one thing, taco soup, you automatically have a few things planned after that you're just used to coupling with that recipe. So I love that. Second of all, it's a great way to refresh your leftovers, right? You can do bulk batch cooking, do a big batch of it, and then use it in different ways so that it kind of feels like a brand new meal, even though you're eating leftovers, really. Okay, I love that tip. And I saw that you had written that while I was working on mine. So I had we do that with stir fry. So we'll do stir fry, and then if there's leftover rice, we'll do fried rice with the leftovers. So yeah, if you guys can comment if you do that with anything else, I think that is a really cool tip. Rochelle says, I just started using the stickies on Mac to list my daily goals for the day. 5 goals max for me. Okay, this is great because it's hard to determine how many tasks you can focus on in a day, right? If you have a habit of not breaking down your projects into smaller tasks, then maybe you really only like 1 or 2 things might be your max for each day. But I like that you have that dialed in. You must be breaking down your projects into smaller tasks, and then that means you could do 5 small tasks per day, right? So yeah, I think that's a really cool tip as well for planning, trying to figure out about how many your average is. I've really been trying to stick with 3 for me because I have a hard time breaking them down. Like, to me, every step in the little project is important. So then I'm like, oh, I need to do them all. So I've been trying to narrow it to 3. So I like that, having a limit for yourself for how many tasks you're trying to do in a day. Excellent. Rochelle says, good idea. Backroad Money. Mondraj likes it too. All right. So things that we are eating this week. I like to make crockpot taco lentils. Super easy, lentils and taco seasoning, and can't remember if it's like chicken stock or something. So just a crockpot meal. It is like fall here, so we're like eager to start eating like soup and crockpot things again, because those are great ways to save money too. It's kind of batch cooking and cheap ingredients usually. Hamburger soup, we just made a big pot of that. I had never had hamburger soup before. My husband grew up on a farm, so they always had like a bunch of ground beef. And so I don't know if you guys have ever had just hamburger soup. Like, I'd heard of taco soup, and Backroad Money, you even mentioned taco soup, but it's just ground beef with veggies. So like chicken soup, but with beef. So anyway, it's delicious. So we have a big pot of that we'll be eating on. And we do have baked potatoes. So I'm going to try to do hamburger soup in a baked potato because that sounds good. And we just discovered a new recipe for baked chicken where it's like, what is it? Balsamic vinegar. So it's a little bit like a little tart, but yeah, anyway, so that's, and I really want to try to get some kind of fish recipe in this week too. Rochelle, you mentioned flounder, right? Anyway, So that's kind of what we'll be eating this week. Like I said, it's a good way to save money if you have it kind of planned out ahead of time. Rochelle says, love these work sessions. Thank you. I just shared it to my comm page. Thank you. Oh God, you're so sweet, Rochelle. Yeah, so on that note, was this session helpful for you guys? Like I said at the beginning, I do this every week and realized I could just hop on and share kind of the prompts that I go through with you guys. So if this was helpful, let me know in the comments. What was the most helpful takeaway? Was there any particular tip that you found helpful, either from me or from the comments? Because you guys were really active in the comments today, so I appreciate that. I am back on the horse now, so work sessions every Tuesday. And then, like I said, if this one's helpful, I might do a week planning one like this. But the one on Tuesday is very money specific. Like I haven't decided yet what we'll do this Tuesday. But the next one I will do October budgeting. So just as like a little bit more accountability to sit down and work on your money goals and how to save money. So that's what the Tuesday live stream session, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then upcoming content. So I just posted my interview with Danny on Money Mindset. If you guys haven't watched that, it's just the most recent video out there. When I was talking to her, she had a few things that that we talked about that were a little unrelated to money mindset. So I had pulled those out, and I'm going to post those as separate videos this week. One was updates on our path to financial independence. So both Danny and I just shared, kind of where we're at and what we're working towards. And then we also talked a little bit about productivity, kind of managing a side hustle in addition to working. So I'll post those videos. I did a thrift haul video. I'm hoping to post that either this week or next week. I just realized that's 3 videos. And then working on a blog post still on my controversial opinions about personal finance. So been meaning to do that one for a while. Okay, so Tuesday is still the day for live streams. Like I said, if you guys think this is helpful, I might add in a Sunday one and do Sunday weekly planning. And then, okay, yes, you said really good. Good. Sounds good. One tip is using your Instant Pot at the beginning of the week. Make your starches, potatoes, and rice, and this saves a lot of time. Yeah, I love that. Like I said, Sunday, I try to do just a little bit of meal prepping. It just makes the rest of the week go easier, and I tend to be busier in midweek. And that reminds me of a good tip for productivity too. And I just heard this on the, I think it's the Asian Efficiency podcast. I'll have to remember what it is and then add it to the notes, but they were talking about making sure that you schedule your most important activities for early in the week. So like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, try to get in those tasks that are the most important to you that you want to make sure that you get done. And the reason behind it was just saying that if something comes up in the week, it's nice to be able to not have that important stuff for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, so that way you're making sure that you're getting done your most important tasks earlier in the week. So that just reminded me of that. So kind of along the lines of meal prepping, try to do it earlier in the week if you can. Sundays work for you? Good. Okay, cool. All right. That is all I had for you guys. Thank you so much for joining, and I'll let you guys all go. Thank you so much, you guys. Bye.